What's going on, everybody? What is happening? Peace to everyone out there. Hopefully, y'all are having a good night watching some summer league basketball. I haven't taken a look at the schedule today to see all the games that have been happening, but I know one thing: if you're a Knicks fan or an Orlando Magic fan, they are playing right now on NBA TV. Knicks are up 39-34. And there's no Paolo Banchero tonight. So if you're a big Paolo fan, I'm sorry. You know, they're resting. Yeah. He's done what he had to do.
Yeah, like some sort of little sprain or something?
No, I think he's actually he only tweaked something, but he's good. I think they just want to take it easy with him, make sure. I mean, they've seen enough. They said, sense. Okay, you're the real deal. We drafted okay with you.
Exactly.
Salute to everybody in the chat. Thank you for hanging tight and rocking with us. I know we were a little behind. I apologize. Don't you worry about it. We here now.
We are in the building.
Yeah. Shout out to, and let me just give you guys a shout out real quick because I know some of y'all were waiting. So shout out to Clyde Cromie, David L, Greg. You know, that's always a weird name, and there's no offense to you, buddy, but every time I see Greg, I think Craig. So I apologize, but it just, you know, it's so close. LP's in the building, RJ's in the building, Tunchi's in the building, Vincent Clemente's in the building, Angel Torres is here, Kep Giggles, Toan Sellers, Nexus Dice, and Miga. I'm going to get that right one day. I'm sorry. I know I see you all the time representing and showing love. I'm going to get it right. Maybe we need to get you on one of the shows where you can speak so we can hear how you actually pronounce it.
Yeah. I'll put it on the chat. You know, they have those.
Yeah, if you could spell it out in the chat so we know exactly how to pronounce it, because I hate feeling like I'm pronouncing it wrong. And shout out to Almighty Finesse. And as always, Legion of Knicks podcast with my man Guillermo. Salute to him. Guys, if you haven't checked out Guillermo's show, Legion of Knicks podcast, definitely do. Great content. And you'll definitely be entertained. All right, man. So and shout out to Demetrius Cintron. Appreciate you. So, John, listen, man, you know, it's been a hot time right now. The weather's not the only thing heating up. The trade talks, the rumors, different things are happening. It's fast and furious right now. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited, man. Everybody, I'm sure I'm with everybody that's looking at the Donovan Mitchell, you know, situation. And so we're all hoping to see how it all lands. Some folks are sort of in between. Some folks want Mitchell. Some folks don't want Mitchell. You know, it's going to be an interesting time. You know, we're back in the headlines. That's for sure. New York headlines.
Yes,
we're all over social media, all over the newspapers, all over, you know, the NBA, you know, gossip, you know, so channels. So ESPN, there was talks all day, this entire morning. It's all been Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Well, you know, I hope, you know, something good comes out of it for the Knicks. We've been rumored in every possible scenario, all off season, all throughout free agency. Everything has been the Knicks somehow, some shape or form. So I hope something comes out of it. Luckily enough, you know, they were able to get Jalen Brunson. So at least that was on the mark. We'll see what else happens.
Right.
There you go. Miyaga. Okay. All right. Now I know it's Miyaga, guys. Miyaga. So appreciate you for letting us know that. And I see you talking about a possible trade that would involve Suns, Pacers, Nets, and Jazz. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. Hang tight. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm excited. It's good to see the Knicks in like, you know, front page rumors instead of like back page news.
True. But again, this could all be taken away in a clean, you know, swoop. You know,
This is true.
So we got to be patient. We got to, you know, hold true, not get overhyped until, you know, what's done is done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So you know what? Without further ado, why don't we get into it and start, you know, talking about what's going on, man? There's different scenarios out there, and plus, you know, we can kind of get into what people think is currently going on because of what may or may not have already happened. How about that?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Okay. Yeah, trade or keep. That's the guy, Mr. You know, best player in the NBA right now is sitting out there in limbo, folks. So we got to see what's going on with him. It's like, I don't know. I mean, John and I were joking earlier. Either way, he's still going to get paid. He's going to get his money.
That's true. That is so true.
So, and this kind of goes to what Miyaga was talking about. So let me say this. Now, things have changed, obviously, but I'm going to get into it. First off, as you guys can see, this is a trade offer that includes 4 teams, right? The Utah Jazz would get Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, 5 first-round picks, 3 player swap rights from Phoenix, and then the Brooklyn Nets would get Donovan Mitchell, Mikal Bridges, Miles Turner. The Phoenix Suns would get Kevin Durant, and the Indiana Pacers would get DeAndre Ayton. Right. Now, I know if you guys are like, hey, that doesn't make sense because, yes, I know DeAndre Ayton signed earlier with the Indiana Pacers. We'll talk about it a little bit as we continue. But this was the trade offer that was most recently brought up for Kevin Durant. So as you guys can see, this trade offer has holes in it because one of the main pieces has already decided to sign outright with Indiana. So this trade is dead in the water in a lot of instances. So I don't think this is something you got to worry about. But if this was the trade, what do you think about this, John?
I don't know what Utah would have been doing. Who were they getting? What are they getting? Oh, okay, Ben Simmons, Cam. I mean, that's the rebuild, right, for them. So that's a lot of picks, a lot of first-round picks, all protected potentially. You know.
Yeah, I can see why they would want to do it because you get Ben Simmons, when healthy and right, is still very young and a very talented player. Cam Thomas still is. I think this is his second year in the league. You know, he's got a very talented offensive game. And you get, you know, rights to swap 3 picks from Phoenix. But most importantly, you get 5 first-round picks.
Yeah, these trades are hard, though, man. Like when you start adding teams to the mix, you know, I think there's been moments where you see like 3-team deals. But once you go over that, I don't ever see anything happening. You know, once they start including 4 or 5 teams in a deal, I don't necessarily ever see that taking place.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult. And we see the Brooklyn Nets would get Donovan Mitchell, Mikal Bridges, and Miles Turner, which I think Brooklyn would love. Phoenix would get that. Go ahead.
I'm sort of glad that DeAndre Ayton put something.
You and me both. I'm glad that he did what he did.
What he did. Just get it out the way. Don't.
Yeah. Let's not wait for all these scenarios. Let's get my money. Yeah. And so I can go where I need to go.
And he got max, right? I think something like that. So
well, did he get max? Because I thought
it was like max.
I mean, maybe it's max for where he got drafted. I don't know. Let's see, because I'm not quite sure.
Well, we'll get to that. Let's talk about that in a few. Because I know we got to slide to touch base about Ayton.
Yeah, we'll get back into it. Yeah, correct. So Phoenix would get Kevin Durant, and they would come out. I don't know, it'd be pretty interesting because really, I guess they would be giving up picks and swap rights, but they'd only be losing Mikal Bridges, and that's like
and Cam, right? Cam Thomas.
Oh, wait, but is that? I get confused. Isn't Cam Thomas the one from the Nets?
Oh, I could be wrong. Yeah, it's Cam. What's the Phoenix Suns player?
Sheesh. I always confuse the two of them. I'm sorry, guys.
Me too.
It's the Cams, man. Cam Johnson. Yeah, so Cam Thomas is the one from the Nets.
From the Nets, okay.
Yeah,
so I got that mistake.
So Phoenix would have came out beautiful in this one.
Yeah, because they still got young players on that squad outside of Bridges. They didn't really give up. They just given up all of the draft picks. The 3 swaps.
Yeah. So I mean, and Indiana would get Ayton, which is what they were going to get anyway. So guys, I mean, listen, this trade is basically dead in the water. We know
dead in the
but this gives you an example of the most recent trade offer that was even on ESPN. If you watch ESPN, I try not to, but I saw that the offer was all over Twitter and stuff. Right. So that gives you an idea of the latest with regards to Durant.
But there is current talks that he may be going to the Warriors.
See, now the thing is with the Warriors talks were actually probably the first set of talks that happened, but then they kind of fizzled. Now maybe they're revisiting it because it's still out there. As long as Durant is still available, the Warriors can always decide if they want to do it. But it's so weird. It's tough to say, oh, Durant's there, we should go out and get him. We just won the championship. It's not like they need Durant.
Yeah. It would be weird, right? Because he left He chose to move on, and then it's like almost an ex coming back.
It's funky, dude. It's funky
it's never
how
gonna
he
work
left.
out well.
Right. It's funky how he left OKC to be with them after they knocked them out in the playoffs the previous year. Yeah. And then he left them to go be with Kyrie, and the grass ain't always greener. Now to come back, and they just won the championship, so they proved they don't need him. I just think it's weird. I don't know, guys.
Then that's a caught in the situation because now they're gonna have like. They have all the leverage in the world, right? They could choose to keep them. They don't have to trade them. So they're basically just waiting to see if there are any offers they're gonna like max out potentially. Like what's the potential of whatever they can get from other teams. It's really about that. Like how many picks can I get? How many, like am I getting any assets that are coming with those picks? Are they viable assets like players like Jordan Poole and players who would be would make it make sense, you know what I mean? So I would say if that does happen though, I would have to see Wiggins and Poole be shipped out, you know what I mean, to the Nets. But they have talent over there in the Warriors. They know what they're doing.
If you want, I could say it's a hypothetical trade now because it's dead in the water. But this was a real trade offer that was put out there, and ESPN was running with it. Prior to today, to what has transpired, this was a real trade offer that they were circulating that could be a possibility. So I don't know. I don't know where they got it from. I'm just telling you this was, it's hypothetical now because it doesn't exist anymore, but it wasn't at the time.
I'm glad it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh, they're saying Suns already matched that deal from the Pacers.
Ooh.
So they're sending a match offer to Ayton.
Ooh.
That's what's happening. That's crazy.
That is crazy. If that's the case, like, hold on. What would, I'm so confused, guys. This has been a drama. You guys know of what's taking place with Phoenix. Okay. Ayton felt slighted because he wasn't maxed prior to the season starting. He wanted his money early. Okay. Some players, were like, okay, we'll deal with it at the end of the season, blah, blah, blah. Like RJ Barrett. For him, it's next year. But like there's guys like that didn't mind. They'll deal with it at the end of the season. Deandre Ayton saw other players around the league, his peers, getting the money, and he felt slighted. But he was still pretty much a good soldier doing what he needed to do, I guess. But who knows? Because then we find out during the playoffs, Monty Williams, who is quiet and calm as you ever see, he came out and was like saying that Ayton quit on the team. So that was wild, and he was very frustrated, and he wound up not even using Ayton. So to me, that's a level of dysfunction. And the front office wasn't sure they weren't going to pay this guy the max, so they kind of let him dangle out there. So you mean to tell me now that he gets an offer from Indiana, now you want to match the offer? I'm so confused. I'm baffled. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Unless they're just trying to stick it to him a little bit. And if Indiana really wants him, they're going to have to up the ante. Because I don't really know too much. I know if the home team matches the offer, then they can take him back.
Right.
But I don't know like how much back and forth can you do with that? Can Indiana go up higher? And
I mean, that would have to be it, a bidding war now, right?
Yeah, this is interesting.
They match the offer, and at some point they would have an opportunity to, come back with a separate offer, probably offer him an extra year or two. And I think it's the Suns' ploy of trying to say, we're willing to match an offer. You got to come a little higher than that, and then see if the Pacers are willing to break the bank for him.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I'm not.
But it says here he has Ayton will have veto power for the first year for the next year.
Yeah,
and doesn't become a tradable until January 15th. So he has all the he has all the leverage on this offer. So that's great for him.
This is very interesting. We'll do a little bit more research and find out more information on this, guys.
Let's go to the 2-shot and then refresh that that graphic page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. That is interesting.
I think that is pretty wild, though. Like I'm surprised. I've just never seen something like this. This is crazy. Anyway, All right. Well, yeah, that was next up. Okay, just
it didn't refresh for you because I changed things around over there.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It didn't refresh for me, but it's okay. We'll rock with it. So guys, this is the most recent offer that was out there for Kyrie Irving. And in this one, you can see the Los Angeles Lakers were working on a trade that would send Russell Westbrook and the first round pick, plus the opportunity for a pick swap to the Brooklyn Nets. And the Nets would be trading Kyrie Irving and Joe Harris back to the Lakers. I don't know how I feel about this one, but I really don't care too much because I just think it's money, and you're switching one guy who just wasn't a real good fit in LA for another guy who doesn't want to be with Brooklyn. So it is what it is. Joe Harris is the throw-in, maybe to help with the
and he's coming off an injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And actually is a pretty good pick to pick up in a trade if you can get a Joe Harris. A healthy Joe Harris is a good player.
Right.
What do you think about that type of offer?
No, I mean it would be great for LA. It'll be interesting for Brooklyn because now you're placing Russell back with KD, and we know how that that turned out. So I'm sure they could they would make amends if they need to play together, or maybe not. Maybe Durant decides that he needs to heal. You know what I mean? Heal some injuries and stuff. So
yeah, I mean it's listen, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is interesting, and for what's going on with this particular trade offer, obviously Brooklyn is not in love with it. They would want something a little bit more sexier, especially, I mean, any team that has a high valued asset like a Kyrie Irving or a Kevin Durant. After you see what the Utah Jazz got for Rudy Gobert, you're like, come on, man.
For real.
What can we get?
That's the biggest thing for us. It's like what is that going to look like? What sort of fleece is Danny Ainge trying to pull over? So
Exactly.
we'll see.
So this is, from everything that I've seen, the most current trade offer that might have been plausible out there involving the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets in regards to Kyrie Irving, guys. So
I would be surprised that Brooklyn doesn't ask for more, though.
oh yeah, they would have to. I would think
Right?
they would want more.
Yeah.
Even though Russell Westbrook, might still be a very good player for a team, and the money is right.
Kyrie is the one that wants out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're doing Kyrie a favor, but what are they really getting out of it? Like, how does this
Exactly.
improve the Brooklyn Nets franchise? And that's what I think they're looking at.
Right.
So, yeah, guys. So basically, the point of this was to show you the most current trade offers for Durant and for Kyrie, and for you guys to realize that there's not much action going on with these two gentlemen. And a lot of people, at least on these sports platforms, are saying that there's a chance that the Brooklyn Nets wind up holding on to both of them.
Right.
And maybe they still have to trade them eventually, maybe closer in the season's a trade deadline or something, if they can keep them both happy and not disgruntled while they're here. But I don't know. They might be in a situation where the value is just too low, and you don't want to just give a good player away after you already remember, these are investments that you've made. You don't want to cripple your franchise just to make these guys happy.
And how many more years they're in the hole for with Kevin for what? It was like 2 more years, 3 more years.
I think Kevin is 2 more years,
and then Kyrie
because
just
he basically, he was on the shelf for 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And then Kyrie just took the max offer right now. Like he made sure to re-sign. So
yeah, so Durant is through 2025, 26.
Okay. So he still got 4 more years. And that last one is probably a player option.
And Kyrie Irving. He signed a 4-year. So
this would be the third. This is like his year with the option, because he had signed the option deal, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So this would be his last year with them.
Right.
Because he signed the option. Correct. Good point. Yeah. So I mean, that's the case with in regards to those two players. I mean, the best move might be just to hold on to both of them and see where you can go from there.
Right.
Because we don't know if they're going to be happy with the value they're going to get back for them. And so that brings you to another team that is very active in free agency in regards to putting their name in the mix for a lot of these players. Of course, they would love Kevin Durant. They would. I don't think they value Kyrie as much. I think they would really want Kevin Durant over there in Miami. But they're looking at all types of different options. And one of the options that Miami is looking at is Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is, he's getting a lot of, I feel a little bad for him, actually, because he's a good player. He's not the greatest defender. Of course, we know he's a smaller player, but he's very, very active. He's intense. He's a character. And he's a really good scorer for what he's been in this league. He scores like 22, 23, 24 points a game.
I think the injury, though, I think that's what's
giving
problem.
People a lot of concern, right?
Yeah, they're concerned about the injury and how he's going to heal. But for a team like Miami, I could see Miami taking a flyer on him and, sending him a nice offer, and potentially signing him to a deal that will really, I think he would fit with that team. I think he has that gritty type of style. He gets under your skin. He's an intensive player. One of those. He's like a Russell Westbrook, right? Very, aggressive type players. And I think they do really well in Miami.
right.
within that system. So I can see
So,
that.
according to Sam Amico of Hoops Wire, both the Miami Heat and the Utah Jazz are interested in sign and trade options for Colin Sexton. Which you might wonder, like if Utah is in this whole rebuilding phase, why would they consider this? Because Colin Sexton is still a very young player, and if you can get him coming off injury with maybe a cheaper contract than what you would normally have to pay because of the injury, maybe you can use that to your benefit. You'd have somebody already in place who's young, and while you're rebuilding and adding draft assets to your cubbyhole over there, or your war chest, that's what they say. Then you have a player that okay, well, he can be our one of our main scoring options, and we can build around him. So we're not starting all the way from scratch with youth. With that's untapped potential. We don't know what it is. What Sexton is basically.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And, let me just double check because I don't know off the top of my head. Yes, he is. Okay. Colin Sexton is 23 years old.
Still very young.
Very young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see that as something that they would definitely want to consider.
Yeah. Plus they got what did they sign Lowry to? 2-3 year deal?
I feel like it was a
Last year
2-year
was
deal.
2-year deal because
Let's see.
last
It
year
maybe
was his
one
last
of
year.
those. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he may be looking for a new home as well, and they need to get younger.
He signed the 3-year deal, $85 million.
So he had 1 year last year. He got 2 more years. They need to get younger. They need to start transitioning too.
They definitely do. And no offense to Kyle Lowry, but he really didn't have a good season for Miami.
Right.
Miami played well, but it wasn't due to Kyle Lowry's play that really helped them. They just played really good. And those guys, that they picked up, those G Leaguers were really good.
Yeah, they were solid. All year they were solid for them.
Yeah. So that brings us to Deandre Ayton. Phoenix Suns Deandre Ayton signs a 4-year, $133 million maximum contract offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers. Now, apparently, Phoenix Suns, by rules and law, have like 48 hours to match the
Which
offer.
they did.
I see there's a lot of back and forth in the chat about if it's true that they matched, if it's not. So apparently all over Twitter, it's saying that Phoenix is matching the offer.
Oh, they matched it. Bleacher Report is out.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So it's wild.
Yeah.
I think we already kind of talked about it, but that's just wild. I don't get it at all. So all right, whatever.
But the ball is on his court now. He gets to decide whether he's going to stay or
the organization talked with Monty and said, "Listen, do you want him back here? Can we make this work?" Blah blah blah. Maybe they, I don't know.
Yeah,
they did say the Phoenix owner is very cheap. So
yeah, listen. Well, they were willing to Porsche up that money right now. So they put out the offer. It's up to Ayton to either wait for secondary offer from the Pacers or commit to this offer.
Wow. So Miyaga said, according to Woj, obviously I don't have Woj's comments right in front of us right now, but so Miyaga said, according to Woj, as soon as the Suns received the 4-year, $133 million offer sheet, the franchise matched it. Deandre Ayton returns to Phoenix and can't be traded without his consent for a full year.
Mm-hmm. So is he? So that means he's committing to it.
Because I guess that means that
he has to sign. He's signing
that he's staying with Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this is wild.
And that changes everything because they can't trade him. So that means that Phoenix is out of the race to get Durant.
That is what that looks like to me. So this is interesting, guys. Indiana must be feeling sick. This is another reason why, it might make more sense for the Nets to just say, you know what? I know you guys ain't happy, but you're going to be here for a little while longer. So deal with it.
This is why I'm happy that the Knicks did what they did and re-signed Mitch, because you had to get him. You had to get him before the free agency market got hot. Because right now, once Ayton goes, then he was next in line. It's a good thing they were able to talk him into continuing with the Knicks. Seeing that he already built a rapport, and they say that it was part of his camaraderie with the team, with his teammates, is one of the reasons why he stood with the New York Knicks and decided to resign. So
right, exactly. And for those tuning in right now or want a score update, New York Knicks Summer League with the Orlando Magic. It's 62-57. The New York Knicks are up in the third quarter, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter.
Nice. Is Grimes playing?
Grimes is playing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we thought that this would be very interesting because, one, we weren't sure if the Knicks were going to have a chance to really still compete in the Summer League for the championship. I mean, say what you will, it's still an opportunity to win something, right? But the Knicks are still in good shape. They're in first place. If they win tonight, they'll be 3-1, and they have a really good chance at fighting for the championship game. The other thing is, a lot of people were curious to see what would happen if there was any Knicks in the Summer League that were pulled that didn't lace them up. So then we'd be like, what's going on?
Right.
But everybody's playing, so yeah, I don't know what that means.
Listen, anything is possible, even because when does the trade deadline end? I don't think it ends.
I don't think it ends.
Time, right? So you can
for a while
you can be
until
trading
until maybe the season starts.
Right. So you can be trading all the way up to then. So there's plenty of action that's going to continue throughout this time. So just gotta wait patiently and see if something lands or doesn't. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to jump off the ledge. I'm just trying to stay even keel. If we get an opportunity, we get it. If we don't, we don't.
That's right. You got to know the ledge, people. Got to know the ledge. So we'll see what happens with that. And then that brings us to trade talk scenario involving the New York Knicks. So obviously, John already mentioned it earlier. There's a whole bunch of mixed feelings in regards to Donovan Mitchell and the chance of him, winding up on the New York Knicks. And, this is a sidebar since I'm watching the game. Let me tell you something. This Daquan Jeffries is looking real good in this game. He just hit back-to-back threes. It looks like he's kind of hot, and he's definitely trying to make his case to be a part of, if not the Knicks, another NBA
squad. Yep.
Yeah.
This is when they get their chance, right? This is their opportunity to shine, get some looks from other teams, or even play for the G League on that team. You know what I mean? So that's dope.
Correct. So some people want Donovan Mitchell because of all his abilities and how he can definitely help the Knicks team, who hasn't had a star guard, shooting guard in a very long time, probably since Bernard King. That's a long time, folks.
Right.
Then you got other people that are concerned about his height and the fact of having a 6'1" backcourt between him and Jalen Brunson. Then you got other people that are upset for a whole different reason. They like the youth. They finally like the movement that the Knicks are doing, with all these young players. And the fact that they feel like this season would probably be a real season where the young guys will get a chance to play. Last year, there was a lot of back and forth with Tibbs and his rotation, not giving some guys, the minutes that people felt they deserved. And so now coming into this year, there's high expectations, high hopes that these guys are going to be playing more. So then they're concerned that, this is same old Knicks. This is the same thing we did in the Carmelo Anthony trade, and they're just doing it all over again.
It's interesting that you say that with the Carmelo Anthony trade.
So, that brings us to our next slide. Boom. There he is, the Mellow Man. So, and this is the reason why we have this here, guys, is because a lot of people are pointing to this. And I know, some people have good memories and they remember exactly what went into the trade. Others may not. You need
Others
a
like
refresher
me.
course. Yeah, I didn't remember.
I need a refresher.
Freezy put it up the other day, and I think that was interesting because when I saw it, I said, "Oh, okay, that's right." But this is a case where you can clearly see what happened in this trade. All right, I was upset about this Melo trade because I felt Melo could have waited, um, but I understand why he didn't. And then there's more information. One was obviously the money. You know, the money he would get by being traded to the Knicks and being re-signed is much more than if he just came here and as a regular signee because it was a different team he'd be moving to from Denver. On the flip side, too, Sim had pointed out things that were happening with the collective bargaining agreement and how things were being situated. And he wanted to get in ahead of the curve before everything dropped down. And that made a lot of sense to me because I wasn't looking at it like that. That made a huge amount of sense. Like, yeah, if I know that something's going to happen with the CBA and other things are happening, I want to get my money now before I fall into the category of whatever changes they make. So that did make a lot of sense. So shout out to Sim for bringing that up because I really wasn't thinking about that at all.
Yeah. So something that is also not on this slide was that the Knicks sent Eddie Curry and Anthony Randolph to Minnesota to clear up cap space. So that's sort of like how they were able to bring in, like finalize the deal and bring in the players that they brought in.
That's a great point. And honestly, that's probably one of those things that where people might say there was even more that went into it. But then again, we weren't in love with everything Eddie Curry was giving us. So we thought
he was over with him.
Yeah,
he was deep in the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
And Anthony Randolph didn't pan out, right? Like he was a kid who we thought could potentially become, a sort of Chris Bosh type player.
Right.
But it just didn't pan out.
And it never happened. And we saw what Anthony Randolph's career turned out to be. So you got to look at what it was and what it turned out to be and how the whole trade really, leveled out. So February 2011 blockbuster trade that sent Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks included Denver teammates Chauncey Billups, Sheldon Williams, Anthony Carter, and Ronaldo Balkman. And joining him in New York in exchange for was Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Danilo Gallinari, Timofey Mozgov, 2014 first-round draft pick, along with 2 future second-round picks and additional cash. Now, at the time, this seemed like a nightmare. Like, I wanted Carmelo, but then we had to give up all these guys. And, we're Knicks fans, and these are young players. We were in love with these young guys. Like, yeah, man, this is our guys.
Not only that, though, because Donnie Walsh, who was the GM at the time, had stated publicly that he did not want to make a move for Melo.
Right.
And that it became a James Dolan, hierarchy move, which pushed the trade forward. So I think parts of that was sort of what was glaring during that time. And then we were playing decent basketball. I don't necessarily remember if we were playing 500 basketball, but I know we were playing decent enough that we were there was some noise. There was a little noise there. Raymond Felton and Wilson Chandler had some good rapport. And then Timothy Mozgov started really showing signs of being a quality center with this particular team. And then that sort of in line with all the pick with a couple of picks and so yeah.
This was it was tough at the time, but when you look back at it, this wasn't a bad trade. When you look back at it now and you see what happened, who the Knicks got out of this trade.
It wasn't bad.
Carmelo Anthony played with us, 7 years, I think. I think it was 7 years.
7 or 8.
And, he's Melo. Granted, we didn't go where we wanted to go with him, but we didn't really build around him in the right way. Yes, you could point to this trade, giving up our assets the way we did. We weren't able to put the team around him because we made this trade. But you could also say that we could have done a better job at putting us in a position to get Melo. When we knew Melo wanted to come to New York for a minute, we knew for a little bit. We could have did a better job of building and putting pieces around him. Even in the 52 win season with Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, The guys we had, Kurt
They
Thomas.
went with the veteran style there. They
Right.
went with a
That was the
veteran team
issue.
because they could afford it. Because
Correct.
remember, we were so behind the eight ball when it came to salary cap space and available draft picks because we had sent them off. All of them were sent off prior to Donnie Walsh taking his reign, and
Yep.
so it was very tough on any GM to be able to make any of these moves. This one wasn't a bad one, and I get where Sims was talking about. The move to grab what's his name, Chandler, um, Tyson Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that messed things up a bit. But at the time, I think, Amari was dealing with injury. And so we sort of needed that backup center. So you kind of forces our hand to bring in a big when you're missing a big. So it was an interesting time. I think they did the best that they could at the time. And again, they had like 1 or 2 years where they brought in aging players, quality, but still aging. So
Right. And
because
yeah, and
Steve Francis was a part of that too, right? Anthony Hardaway was a part of that mix.
that was the retread years, man. That's when the
Yeah,
Knicks was bringing in all the stars that did stuff
yeah.
for other
Larry
teams.
Hughes had
Yeah,
a
it
little,
was crazy.
you know what I mean? So it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
Sheesh. It was nuts. And that was a shame because if the Knicks just the window was closing and they just felt like they needed to go all in, and it
Right.
was a little bit of a mistake. If they would have gone with some vets around Melo and tried to add some younger players that had more sustainability, maybe the Knicks could have did something for more than just 1 year. That year was great. Don't get me wrong. I was excited. I was happy. I was like, man, they're playing pretty damn good.
Right.
But we didn't get anything out of it other than it was a good season.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
got a super chat coming from
yeah,
Robert.
I see you. So I mean that's kind of what that was, guys. So for those who wanted to revisit it or didn't remember it, that's what it looked like. And if let me say this real quick. Chauncey Billups was with us for a little bit, but Chauncey Billups was kind of on his last legs.
Right.
Sheldon Williams didn't really do much for us. Anthony Carter didn't do much. Ronaldo Balkman, however,
Had a couple of good seasons with
he had a
us.
couple. Yeah, he had a little, good little spell with us, with Carmelo. And then when you look at Wilson Chandler, he played pretty good defensively. He was active. He was very, still very athletic, but his shot never really leveled off, and he never really became that type of role player that you could say like he was a really good role player. He was a decent player.
He had 2 years though with the Nuggets. Him and Danilo, those first 2 years with the
Right. Those
Nuggets, they
first
went
2 years
off a little bit.
were yeah.
But then he
And I
had
would say
that knee injury.
out of all these guys, Danilo has probably been the most productive.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Raymond Felton personally, but Timothy Mozgov did have a nice cup of coffee with Cleveland too, and I think he got a ring out of it.
Yeah, he did.
So and he was actually pretty good that year. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but when you look at their longevity, it wasn't sustained. They didn't have all kind of fizzled out. So definitely,
yeah. I wanted to touch this real quick because he says we the super chat. Thank you, Robert, for that super chat, generous super chat. We could have gotten Melo at the end of the season, Vice at the whole halfway mark, right? I think Ron, you spoke about this a bit earlier, where there was potential to get him, the following season because he was up and he would have been able to sign a max deal. But Melo, being who Melo is, was impatient, wanted to get out, and obviously had his agent speak to one, our leader, or you know what I mean, our president, James Dolan, and they made it happen in advance. And I think that's what Donnie Walsh was hoping for, to play out the season so that he would be able to have leverage and bargaining, and not having to trade away players like Wilson Chandler and Danilo. Can you imagine a Knicks team with that young core? Of those two players with the Melo, that would have been a whole different ball game.
It might have been. I mean, I guess we'll never know now, but it's a shame. But yeah, that's the whole thing. I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Robert. But like I said, I was shown the light, and the bottom line is that money difference. We're talking almost $40 million left on the table if he had done that, and chose to not, do it in the way he did. And the other thing is, like I said, the most important thing that I didn't, factor in was the whole collective bargaining agreement, how it was changing, coming up on the following year, and Melo wanted to get in, get his money before it changed. So that makes sense, and that's one of those things that's a savvy thing from the upper elite players in the league. That's something that a Melo, a Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, a LeBron James, they were the mix, right? So they had their own little clique. They all talk about that stuff. So he did what he did because he knew what was coming.
Right.
And the other thing is, another point out to Sim, I got to shout him out when he brings up these points. I didn't bring them up myself. The Brooklyn Nets really wanted Melo. So if the Knicks didn't do it, the Nets were ready to do it.
And were they at Brooklyn at the time, or they were still in Jersey?
I think they were still in Jersey, but they were ready. The move was happening. Right. I think they were still in Jersey. Yeah.
And forgive me, Mr. Day. You 100% right. I did say president, and no, I meant owner. I was just caught up in my own brain, old man brain, just forgetting words. So I appreciate that. But yeah, James Dolan is owner, not president.
Right. Okay. See, there you go. Yeah. All right. So I mean, so that was that, guys. And that brings us to, what will it take to land a Spider? This is the thing, man.
This is what everyone's talking about.
This is what everybody wants to know. And heads up, guys, just another update. It's 78-73 New York Knicks over the Orlando Magic. It's in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes and 55 seconds left in the fourth.
Nice. See if we can stretch out a lead there. Look close.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man.
Probably backup players right now, right?
Still playing. Yeah, these last. Well, I mean, right now you still got. I mean, for the Knicks, I mean, they've got their starters in there. I guess really? Basically.
Okay, they're really going for it. Okay,
they're still trying. Grimes is at the line right now. You got Farron Hunt. You got Trevor Keels. Montero's out there. Sims is out there. Yeah, so they're trying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna blow this up and then I'll bring it back to the face screen right there. So this is trade option number 1, guys, and this is just a couple options that we put together of trade scenarios that would work and were a success. Using Fans Pro. So obviously, if you're not happy with it, these are options. And remember, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's being offered and what's the real deal. But, so the Knicks would send Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, Emmanuel Quickly, a 2023 round 1 first round pick, 2028 first round pick, a 2023 first round pick via Washington, and a 2026 first round pick. So 4 first rounders, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Emmanuel Quickly. Obviously, those players would make it work with the money for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gay. Obviously, guys, the prize here is Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gay is the throw-in to kind of make the trade work. How do you guys feel about this trade? Excuse me. Do you think this is something you'd be comfortable with, knowing that you got to give up something in order to get Donovan? And what do you think about this trade, John?
It's an interesting one. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of trying to keep Cam Reddish because I think you can never go wrong with a player that can do it in both sides of the court. Can play some good defense and also shoot the ball really well. But at this moment in time, if it's to get a Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't mind it. I'm not sure what you do with Rudy Gay. Does he have any more years left? Possibly. I could see him in a backup role. Um, but again, once we get Donovan, that you definitely sticking with RJ at the small forward position, and he's at a disadvantage already. So it's going to be interesting to see how, if we were to get Donovan Mitchell, how the Tibbs defensive assignments will run. Will they play a lot more zone defense? Would they do a lot of double teaming, which they did a lot of last year and left the open three? I would hate to see that again. You know what I mean? That's a bit problematic because you got a lot of switching going on. But again, they're going into, if we go ahead with Donovan Mitchell, we're going to be extremely undersized at that wing position. But again, we're going to be able to score with the best of them. At least that's the hope, that we can score with the best of the running teams and get out there and transition. So we'll see. We'll see what it works with. But I wouldn't hate it. I'll be okay with it.
I hear you.
There's a lot of draft picks there, by the way. It's like 5.
Yeah, I mean,
first rounders.
That's what's going to have to happen, because they do want picks. Shout out to Big Lou. Thank you for joining as always. We appreciate the generous super chat. He says, we the only team in the NBA that does not stick to the youth movement. Why not stay within? Well, listen, as you know, has been mentioned by a lot of fellow content creators. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is still part of the youth. He's 25 years old.
He's young. Yeah.
So
young. And you would still keep Grimes with this scenario. You would still keep some of our youth, because you will still have Grimes, you will still have Deuce, you will still have Obi, you will still have RJ Barrett. I mean, it's a lot of youth. Mitchell Robinson. It's still a lot of youth, even if with this trade here.
Like even with this scenario, I can see some people saying, that Emmanuel Quickly is real tight with Spida. So would this even work? Would he be happy with this? I mean, he doesn't really have a say, but I get it. So I think the Knicks would try to make him happy. But even in this case, if this was the trade that went out, if this worked, who would be mad with this? I mean, you still keep, like what John said. Look at all the players you can still keep. Obi, RJ, Grimes,
right.
Like all these different players. I don't have to keep getting into the names.
Yeah.
You know who we got on the roster, but and you still get Donovan Mitchell? Like, who would be mad at that? You can't be mad at that. I'm not. You got to give up something in order to get him. Right. Now, if you're mad about the fit, that's a different thing. Right. Like, how would they use him? How would the Knicks make up for having a small backcourt? What will they do? Like, what? Yeah. That's a different story, and you have a gripe. But I think you have to give any team a chance to figure out what they're going to do. When I heard that years and years ago, when the first big three, if you want to call it that, when Miami decided to put LeBron, Wade, and
Bosh together,
and then I saw the rest of the roster, I was like, okay, I'm not really worried about that. Roster got busy. All right, they filled it out nicely. And those guys are all like, a lot of them were journeymen. Then you had some young guys. You had like the Mario Chalmers. You had the
still had Haslam there.
Haslam. You had, I think
they brought Rayford.
I don't remember exactly which level of guys they had. I know they had Mike Miller, but they had a nice run.
They were mixing it
different times.
Yeah.
They had Ray Allen at some point. They had Birdman,
Austin, right? And they had Chris Anderson.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those things. Like, and then the other thing is we haven't experienced this in, I don't know when is the last time it's ever happened. As for me being a Knicks fan, the chance to get Brunson, or we have Brunson, the chance to get Donovan Mitchell, and to pair them with RJ and Julius, whether you like Julius or not, Julius is still a 2010 player, right? And then maybe other people around the league saying, okay, well, the Knicks look like they're trying to do something over there. regardless of if the team is perfect, they are going in the winning direction. They could win some games. So why don't I go over there? This is when you start to see the vets taking less money to join a team. We've never been in that position because we're never in contention like that to have a chance to bring in those vets.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, you never know what could happen. But I hear you, Big Lou.
There is no denying that Donovan Mitchell is a top talent. Is he a superstar? Remains to be seen. So it's just a matter of time, right? He's 25. Usually players peak around this time, right? For him, this is sort of his peak years. You would say from 25 to 30, those are peak years. So if you want to take a flyer on him, why not? The city's gonna be buzzing if Donovan Mitchell is here. It's just a matter of time whether they start winning or losing. Like that will be what seals his fate here in New York. Whether we can win with him or not. So for right now, I say why not? I mean, what does it hurt if you're not given? I mean, you're gonna have to give up a lot, but that's the reason why Leon Rose, stacked all these picks. It was bound to happen. He had to remove. He wasn't going to be able to do all of these first round picks, and use them all. Like that wouldn't make any sense. You don't have enough roster space.
It's true. I mean, everybody's starting to say it. I think, I mentioned it earlier, and I'm not saying I'm the one who noticed it. I think a lot of people are noticing it. The writing's been on the wall. Mm-hmm. Bringing Leon Rose here, Jalen Brunson was always in the back of the mind, like he could be someone that's coming to the Knicks. Right. Donovan Mitchell, people are like, well, Donovan Mitchell just got on the radar. No, Donovan Mitchell's been on the radar since the Knicks decided to hire Johnny Bryant as a coach. Mm-hmm. So, like, come on, man. This is this idea that this stuff wasn't the plan is wrong. Right. This was the plan. The one thing about the Knicks is that they're very quiet. They don't tell us what they're doing. So, you can't start formulating different ideas of what it looks like they're doing. This is the plan.
This could be a part of the plan, but I'm not going to say it is the plan until
no. I mean, there might be more to it. Yeah, of course.
Because you got to finalize it. Man, like you can have it. So you ain't going to finalize a plan. It's
right.
Not even we're talking about. So let's see if this plan works. If they're able to hand off some players for him. But I mean, I'm not mad at this first option that you're showing us right now. I understand that, the Jazz want picks. They want first round picks. There were talks of 8, but I think most people believed it to be more like 4 or 5 picks. Some of them with players, like team swaps. So we'll see. I think it'll get.
I just want to give you guys an update real quick. It's 96-87, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. The Knicks are up.
Okay. Moving to the championship, right? After this one?
I mean, I don't know if you go to the championship after this one. There might be one more game.
One more game?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be one playoff game, I think, possibly. But we'll see. We'll see it. Because the Knicks have never been here, so I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
We'll see. So let's see what's going on with the next possible trade scenario.
Yeah, right, and I don't think there's some folks who believe it to be like 7, 8 picks to get this all done, but I don't think they can do so because they have so many picks already that they received on the Gobert trade, so they can't keep all those picks.
No, but it doesn't matter because prior to this NBA draft, OKC had 19 first-round picks in the next 7 years. 19,
geez. So maybe they are looking for more first-round picks, but we ain't got that many.
We don't got that many. But
we ain't got that many to hand off.
We can give them 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, we can't go further than that. That's a little too much.
Yeah, because there's some weird stuff. I'm seeing stuff like, the Knicks can offer 7 picks. Actually, the Knicks can offer 8. I'm like, come on, man.
That's way too much.
What are we doing here? So, and this is the second trade option. You see, Knicks would be giving the Jazz Evan Fournier, Obi Toppin, and Emmanuel Quickly. Ooh, look, I see Knicks fans' hearts breaking as we say it. 2023
because everyone knows that the Knicks is sticking with
right. 2023 first round pick, 2028 first round pick, 2025 first round pick, and 2025 via Milwaukee, and a 2023 first round pick via Washington, and then finally a 2026 first round pick from the Knicks for Rudy Gay and Donovan Mitchell. Once again, Rudy Gay is the throw in to kind of help offset some of the money. But yeah, so that's another one, guys. And let me tell you, this is a possible trade scenario that Utah would consider. I don't know if this would be enough. Maybe they want different set of players. The picks, though, they would want picks like this. So don't get it twisted. Would we want to do this? I don't know what the Knicks are planning. This is just a trade that worked. It was successful, and this gives you an idea of what type of stuff you're looking at here.
Right. And again, though, like if it ain't Rudy Gay, it could be, some other players that are on that roster. But I think a lot of their players are young that are currently on their rosters. The only ones like Bogdanovich who would cost a little bit more, right? So then now you're working past the threshold a little bit when you bring in a Bogdanovich onto a trade with Donovan Mitchell. I think Bogdanovich makes like 16 or something like that. Right. He's in the high, mid-teens or whatever. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to make a trade happen with Bogdanovich.
Yeah, so I mean, this is, like I said, guys, this is another option, something to look at. Okay, Sims. Knicks are up 187, fourth quarter, 1 minute and 9 seconds left. I think we can safely say this one's
game over.
Yeah, so Knicks did what they needed to do in order to give themselves a chance to be in the championship game. Ooh, I see what you try to do there. Grimes tried to get snazzy and do a little fake behind the back pass, but then he was shoveling it to Sims, but Sims wasn't ready for it. Could have been a nice highlight play. Oh, but then you still get it. Oh, no. It was an alley-oop play to Farron Hunt, and he kind of blew it. It is what it is, guys. That's all right. Listen, we know what the good part of the game was, the fact that they're winning.
Right.
So it's 29 seconds left. Knicks are going to probably try to run the clock out as much as they can. So this was trade scenario number 2. Trade option number 3. It's a little different. What you guys think about this one? Some of you might like this one. Some of you might.
Some of you might not.
Yeah.
But this is a scenario where you can hand off Bogdanovich in a trade, but you see the money has to work. So
do you want to go through
Julius Randle would have to be your added pick there. No, you feel free, go ahead. You read these off better than I do.
Oh, not really. Let me squint. So the Jazz would get Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, 2023 first round pick from the Knicks, 2023 first round pick via Washington, a 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee, 2026 first round pick from the Knicks, and a 2028 first round pick from the Knicks. And the Knicks would get Donovan Mitchell and Bojan Bogdanovich. I'm just going to say this here, guys. I didn't even think about this trade scenario.
I would do this one in a heartbeat.
This one is interesting. I'm just saying, guys.
It would be really interesting to go into next season with a young core group with Donovan and Bogdanovich as
you see the eyes, shooter. Guys?
Yeah.
Huh? I don't know.
Right.
I might have to consider this one.
I mean, we would, but I don't know if Utah would, because it looks like Utah's on a full rebuild.
Right, exactly. So. Yeah, you never know, man.
In order to bring in Bogdanovich, you would have to,
Knicks have won the Summer League matchup against the Orlando Magic. Nice. They are now 3-1 and have a chance at making into the championship game for the Summer League championship. They have a chance. I don't know if it's next or if they have to play one more game. And since I'm doing the show, it's on mute, so I can't hear. Yeah, but this is an interesting trade scenario, man. But as you guys can see, it was successful, and it's not one of them crazy, far-fetched type of deals. It makes sense on paper. It's all about whether you would want to do it or not.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure that Jazz is going in that direction. I mean, they may want to take Evan, or they may not. That's another player who they may not want to take. Again, the money has to make sense. The money somehow has to match. There's a lot of Donovan is owed 30 million, so you gotta pony up some players for a player like this.
True. So let's look at the fourth and final option that we have. Um, and this one, this is a little closer to the type of
This is more reported,
offer that we've been seeing floating around Twitter
right?
and different, sports related channels. So the Jazz would get Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, and Quentin Grimes. 2023 first round pick from the Knicks, 2023 first round pick via Washington, 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee, 2026 first round pick from the Knicks, and a 2028 first round pick from the Knicks. And the Knicks would get, once again, Rudy Gay and Donovan Mitchell. As John mentioned, the Rudy Gay thing is to help with the money. It could be any other player that Utah would like to throw in to kind of help offset some of those costs there.
Right,
To make sure guys are, the teams are fairly
matched.
in a position either right under the cap or right above it, either way, but just to make it seem more reasonable. So also, I mean, you guys can weigh in on how you feel about trade scenario number 4. I kind of like this one the best because it allows us to keep the majority of our young players, and we're still able to give Julius Randle another shot. I know I'm weird that I'm
Yeah,
doing this,
I'm
guys. I
not.
don't know. I don't
I, I'm
know, but
If there's a way that the Jazz would take Randall from us for whatever reason, I would bolster that up first. Um, I think Derrick Rose is still a serviceable point guard, even though he's going through injuries and as a backup. I think he's a great locker player, like a locker
mhm.
room mentor, which Randall, by all means, has not shown that so much. At least he hasn't shown that to the fans. He's probably showing it to the players. Like, I don't know, because he might be a great teammate, right? We don't know, but he doesn't show it on the court, And so for me, I would try to see if we can, you know, maneuver Evan out of here with a few other players. If we can attach Randall onto that trade, then even better. Because I would like to see some of the young players get an opportunity to play in favor of Fournier and Randall. I don't think that's where the Knicks are going. So I think the Knicks are staying true with Randall, and we're gonna move Evan in the trade with for Donovan, and it's gonna be a combination of what we've seen so far.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, those are some of the different options and scenarios you could think about when it comes to a trade for Donovan Mitchell. I mentioned already, we don't know what any type of real offer is that the Knicks put out there. Some are saying that fourth option looks very similar to what the Knicks might have offered, and according to people, we don't know this for a fact either. We know nothing for a fact. This is all speculative, but they're interested in Quentin Grimes.
Right.
So we'll see what happens, where this goes. I got to tell you, I'm a little concerned. I'm always concerned when it comes to trade situations with teams. I feel like if something's going to happen, you hear about it. You hear that a team is working on an offer with another team. They've been talking for a little bit, and in the next few hours, it gets consummated. Like, they have a deal is in the works. Just got to make sure everything works out with all that stuff. We're not there with the Knicks and the Jazz, so I'm a little concerned about it, to be honest with you. Even though I
Right.
do know there's some posturing going on by Danny Ainge and Utah, he doesn't have as much leverage as he thinks he has, or he's trying to portray that he has.
Right.
And I felt like he was trying to put the Knicks in a bidding war with themselves, because there's
Yeah.
other teams that want Donovan but can't really pony up. When you think about it, the Knicks still have, you know, the best opportunity to acquire him. We've got the best chance, best assets to give up that
Right.
they're looking for. there's other teams that have better assets but can't do a Donovan Mitchell trade, so it doesn't matter. Like OKC has hella assets, but they don't want to take on that Donovan Mitchell contract and deal with that right now.
I think that that's the thing. I think a team like Miami could make it very difficult on the Knicks because they would be willing to add a third team like OKC to
Right.
make this deal work. You know
Correct.
what I mean? And that's what I'm afraid of. You know, like if because that's where the bidding war will begin, right? If a team like Miami comes into the mix and starts to create that 3-team deal where they would be able to hand off these draft picks to a Utah Jazz team, then that leaves the Knicks sort of on their own to sort of muster up all of this, and that's where the imbalance comes from, and that's what I'm mostly afraid of, because now you're starting to bid against a team like Miami, and you know how Pat Riley always wants to give a little something to us because of what happened in the past, so he hasn't forgotten about that, and he continues to be a thorn in our leg. So we'll see. Let's see if we can get this done.
Yeah. As Geraldine said, we need to watch out for Miami. She said, "Did you see ESPN? They beefing up Miami. They said that they had a better offer. Don't sleep on the Don Riley." Yeah, let me tell you something. I don't want to listen. If we were a bigger channel, and I'm not saying nothing but Knicks, if Still Knick Fans was a huge channel, I would probably go on a boycott ESPN type rant, and I'd probably put a campaign together because I'm so sick of ESPN downplaying the Knicks. I don't know what it is about the Knicks, why they want them to lose or why they don't want them to succeed. I don't know what it is.
Big market, man. It's the big market is
because they're owned by Disney. What is it? I don't know.
It's all of the above. It's all of the above.
It's crazy, bro. But hey, ESPN, I ain't really say too much, so don't shut us down. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. It's nuts. And the funny thing is, a lot of these places, like ESPN, I don't know where it is now. I think they're in LA. But at one point, they were like, weren't their offices in like Connecticut or something? Weren't they filming from New York?
Like New Jersey.
Yeah, or something like that. Like, it's just weird, man. I don't know. It's wild, crazy. Yeah, so we can't sleep on Miami. Miami figures out a way to get things done, and they're not afraid, okay? They may think, like, how does this work? Once they figure out how to make it work, they do it. They don't care who.
Not to mention, you have Wade there with the Utah Jazz. So
right.
You know he's in communications with Pat Riley on a regular. So you could just see some sort of finagling happening to get them involved in the trade, to push us over the edge, to push our picks or whatever, like to just get us, maxed out. So
yeah, you know how it is. And shout out to the chat once again. You guys know how we give it up. Please smash that like button and show your love for the show. This helps us out, man. We want to get the NBA report, to be seen by more and more people. We know it's a little tough. This is a nothing but Knicks channel for the most part, and to look for other NBA content on here. I know we talk about the Knicks a lot. There's no mistakes. We're Knicks fans. But we also try to get, especially when the season's going, we try to give love to all the NBA teams as much as we can, especially the ones that are in contention and doing good things. So yeah, please hit that like button, make them algorithms go up, and show a little love for the NBA report. We appreciate that, man. Smash that like button.
Definitely.
Yeah, and also, how we give it up at Still Knick Fans. We always want to shout you guys up, but no offense, there's 446 people here in the chat. Can't go through all the names. So love to everybody. Appreciate y'all. But nice, thank you. ESPN is on the clock like Tibbs. Facts.
The word.
Salute, Quality Jump. Appreciate you as always, brother. Yeah, so I see, John, I was kind of scanning through as we were putting up the trade scenarios. There was some people that like that Julius Randle scenario.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I felt like, unless I'm wrong, I felt like there was a lot of people who like number 4.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one that everyone's talking about right now, because there's a report that Utah is interested in Grimes.
Right.
I haven't seen it. So
And
I
if
don't know.
anybody was just joining right now, sorry, it's a lot of work to be moving this stuff off the screen. Number 4 was this one. This was the 4th trade option, which you see a lot of places. If you're just joining now, we went through 4 different trade scenarios, and 4 seemed to be getting a lot of love from a lot of people. So this is probably one of those that some Knicks fans are okay with seeing happen and doing. You do have to give up Quentin Grimes. I know a lot of people like him and what he's doing in the summer league and stuff,
Right.
but you got to give up. We talk about Donovan Mitchell, guys. You got to give something up.
And let's show option
scenario.
3 again. Let's show option 3 again. This is the one.
And let me show. Yeah, show. This was option 3. And I think a lot of people also like this option because, one, you get to get rid of Julius Randle. And not only do you get Donovan Mitchell, but you get Bojan Bogdanovic back. And, Bojan can play, guys. He ain't no slouch.
He's no slouch, right? He would definitely fit right in.
Yeah.
And then there were a few others. Let's go to 2 real quick, and then we'll go to 1 just to show those who haven't seen it.
So that was 3. This was number 2. Almost looks the same, but it's not. You see Obi Toppin was inserted in there. So you get an idea of you're still not giving up all your young players. All these options, you're still keeping the majority of your youth. And the team itself would still have plenty of guys under the age of 27 years old. 28, because Julius is 28. But if you want to go lower, you could say under the age of 26, you got like 5 or 6 guys still. This was option 2, right? I know people are like, no, not my Obi. Yeah, you're Obi. And this is option number 1. And this is where, you see some people are okay with this one too, because some people are like, if all I got to give up is quickly, and Cam, who we don't know what Cam is yet for the Knicks, they're okay with it. It all depends. Right. So take a look at that one. Baller King is not a fan of 2.
No, he's not.
Centeno Jose says he likes option 1 and 4. Okay. Baller King says Jazz ain't accepting 2.
Right.
Who knows if they'll accept any of these, to be honest.
Right.
But
they may want more.
Right.
They may want Grimes with Cam and Quickly and Fournier. Maybe they want Obi. Right now, what we do know is that the Knicks are staying packed from what we're hearing with Randle and RJ. RJ ain't going nowhere from what we're hearing today. That could change tomorrow, but as of right now, what all the talks is saying, RJ is staying put. And we all know that they're dedicated to Randle, at least the front office is. So it doesn't seem like Randle's going to be moved either.
Right. And Nick Yak, yes, the money does have to match. And I know you might be looking at it. You see 30 million for Donovan and then 6 for Rudy Gay. You see 36. But keep in mind, there's 18 here from Evan Fournier. This is almost 6 from Cam Reddish. Another 2.5 basically from IQ. And you got to understand that each first round pick has its own, money denomination attached to it, because there's a certain number of money that you have to pay that person that gets picked in the first round. So that's how the money matches. And that's the reason why you see success up here.
Right.
FansPro is a pretty good site. They don't just let you get away with anything.
Right. Plus the Jazz will need to, like, they're looking for cap space. So this helps them get the cap space that they're looking to have. And then the Knicks would have to dump a few players.
Correct.
Probably team option players or.
Yeah. So, that's kind of how that shakes out, guys. And I was just going through, just looking at what some people were saying. Ashley Inc. was like 4 is the best. Travis Ace says 4th is the most reasonable for both. And salute to all you guys. Animal Musical says option 4 is good. Hilton Israel, appreciate you, says 3 and 4 are good, or he likes 3 and 4. King Trey, I agree. Okay.
Some people feel five picks ain't enough. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah,
who
some
knows?
people do feel 5 picks ain't enough. That's true. I hear you, Lane Olson. And that may not be the point may be this is where it goes back and forth between a stubborn Leon Rose and an aggressive Danny Ainge.
Right.
What is Leon willing to give up, and what will Danny Ainge settle for?
It all depends on what other offers are being sent at Danny Ainge's direction, right? And that's my biggest concern, because we know if Miami gets another team involved, they could potentially be in the running.
Anna Grill,
Especially with Hero and a few other those players that they got there.
Right.
You know?
I mean, because guys, that's another reason why if the Knicks are going to do it, I want it to be done already. I don't want to give Pat Riley more time to put something together. I'm telling you, he scares me. He scares me. Anna Grill says 5 should get it done with a swap or 2. Okay. So Charlie Kerr says, what about Fournier, Rose, Deuce, and Cam, and then however many picks it takes? Problem is, I don't know. We don't know anything. I mean, that could work. Fournier, Rose, Deuce, and Cam could work.
Could work.
It could work, but we don't know what they want. But it could work.
It could be an attached 5 picks to 5 to 6 picks could be attached to that, and that could work. And I'll be fine with that. Again, Rose is a player who was picked up by Utah and dropped. So will it happen again? I mean, possibly.
Salute and shout out to Margaret Edwards. No Deuce, forget it. She is a big fan of Deuce. She's like, not my Deuce. I hear you.
You're gonna have to stay up for those Salt Lake City games.
Yeah. D Nice says sounds like they want Grimes. Yeah, I mean that's what it appears.
That's what everybody's saying.
Salute.
I haven't heard that though. I mean, I don't know where this report. Like, please, if you know,
I gotta find it for you, but I'll send it to you.
Is it like a Bleacher Report or something? So I haven't read it.
I gotta find it. I'll send it to you. We'll see. Shout out to Walter White. It was a pleasure actually chopping up and seeing you on the screen yesterday in real time. That was dope.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing, guys. We just got to see what takes place. And shout out to Big Lou. He says, Ron and John, you guys have a hell of a TV show name. Brothers always continue to do what you do. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, Big Lou. Thank you for always supporting and showing love, man. Thank you. So we just got to see what it turns out to be, guys. We'll try to keep you guys posted as to what's happening around the NBA. I don't know if there's any real big signings left to happen. Deandre Ayton was one of the big ones. We still don't know what's going to happen with Colin Sexton. A lot of the other big names have already re-signed with their teams. And then all we really know that's taking up a lot of the NBA news is these possible trades for Kyrie, Durant, and for Donovan. So we'll see what happens. And as we go along, we'll keep you guys posted and try to give you as much information as we can as it presents itself. But thank you guys for rocking with us. Shout out to the New York Knicks for doing their damn thing and winning the game when they needed to win it and having a chance to get an NBA Summer League championship.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. John, you got any final words? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just as always, man, appreciate everyone in the chat for tuning in. I appreciate you, Ron, for having, putting this all together for us. Yeah, man, waiting forward to the next one. Looking forward to the next one. Stay blessed.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you as always, brother. I can, say that I can't tell you how fun it is to be able to chop it up and do this type of stuff with you, man. It's like, I would probably, now I'm starting to feel good about it either way. Like I'm so enthralled in doing this that I have fun doing it, but it's even more fun when I'm able to chop it up and do it with you. So
yeah,
that's
appreciate you. Yeah, man.
So guys, thank you. And shout out to John. You know, he's very humble on the low. He gives me a lot of credit. John helped put these slides together. He gets a lot of information. You know, I'm only a voice. That's all I am.
He is the voice.
Anyway, thank you guys in the chat. Once again, hit that like button. Smash it. Smash that like button. On your way out of here, if you can hit it on your way out, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. And I want to say, you know, I'm one of those that champions little victories and big victories. I forget about it. I celebrate.
Right.
This is the most people we've had on the NBA report at one time, 400 plus people. So I want to say thank you to all you guys for tuning in and watching. We really appreciate it, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. We know that everything takes time. We're continuing to grow. We're going to continue to try to keep giving you guys great content. And I want to say one more thing. If this Donovan Mitchell trade does happen between now and next week, on next week's NBA report, I hope to have a fellow content creator chop it up with us from Utah. That's already kind of in the works, but we're kind of playing it by ear to see if this actually plays out. So that'll be pretty cool to get their perspective on, you know, the trade if it happens and what they'd be getting from the Knicks, how they feel about their team, the direction they're going in, losing Donovan. So let's see where it goes, but that would be really cool. And so I'm going to stay tuned. You guys stay tuned. And I'm just going to stay tuned to see if this Donovan Mitchell trade actually happens. So we're looking forward to that, though. So it should be pretty cool if that happens. So once again, thank you guys. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans, we'll be back again on the NBA Report or on the Knicks Weekly or on Know the Ledge on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. You'll see us. We're always coming at you with content. So definitely thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next show. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your night. And hopefully the Knicks do something we haven't seen them do since the Summer League has been taking place. I mean, a chance at a Summer League championship and maybe winning it. That'd be
dope.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
All right, y'all. Have a great night. Pleasure. Run that.